Hello and welcome to part 4. In accordance to the Copyright Act.
And thanks for summing up, Councillor Taylor. I'll note that Councillor Coates has foreshadowed that we revert to the original motion should this one be defeated. So councillors, given there's no other speakers, I'll put it to vote. All those in favour of Councillor Taylor's motion? Thank you. And against? Okay, that motion's defeated, in which case we now revert back to the original motion. Councillor Coates, did you wish to move that motion?
Yes, Mr Mayor, and if I have a seconder, I'll speak to it.
Thank you. Actually, if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind seconding. Is that okay, Councillor Harris? Sorry, just again, as the person bringing it to the report last time. Sorry, and thank you, Councillor Harris, for understanding. I'll be the seconder in that case. Councillor Coates, over to you.
Yes, Mr Mayor. And look, I'll start out by saying it's not a recent issue that we as a council have been asked to be more inclusive of the LGBTIQA plus community, and I really do take exception with Councillor Taylor's point that we're already completely inclusive and we're doing everything perfectly. We're not. There's been some progress made, but there's still a long way to go in terms of within the organisation and with us as leaders for the community as well. And we do have a significant role there. And I think, unfortunately, Councillor Harris did really hit the nail on the head when he said we really shouldn't be having the debate like this, that in and of itself is actually hurtful for many people in the community. And I thought we'd already been through that through the marriage equality debate. And I will also acknowledge that it's been a very long road for many people in the LGBTIQA plus community over many years in facing discrimination, and there's been hurt and harm along the way, and we can't shy away from that. There certainly has in the public arena, and our role as community leaders is to be bigger than that and to actually stand up and make space for diverse voices, and I'm prepared to do that. I don't know it all, but I want to hear from diverse sectors of the community, and I want to make space for people, and I want people to feel safe in our city and our community, no matter where they are, what their background is. It's been a long road to address discrimination in all of its forms, and much as we've had a human rights charter since 1948, we've got a Victorian Charter of Human Rights. We've still got work to do in many areas, and the LGBTIQA plus community is one of those areas, and we've heard from people tonight really clear reasons why we should do that we've got an opportunity to address some of those challenges, but we've, and again, I'll make the comparison with the Intercultural Advisory Committee. We've got the opportunity to celebrate and really draw on the strengths and the positivity and use that, really celebrate our community, the diversity. It's a strength. It's a strength to have a diverse community, and I'm really proud that we do have a diverse community in Ballarat. I think, in terms of our role, City of Ballarat Council have over 80 services that we are responsible for, and there are some good examples of some progress being made in some of those services. Youth services is a really good example. They previously had the ZARC program. The library services is another good example, as is home and community care and positive ageing. Their team has done really well, but there are a lot of gaps within the organisation, and there are a lot of gaps in our leadership and out in the community in terms of really encouraging people around what they can do to make people feel safe within their services or businesses, and again, look at the opportunities of how we can celebrate that. So I'll leave it there for now. Fully support the officer recommendation, and I hope other councillors do too.
Thanks, Councillor Coates. As a seconder, I'll reserve my right to speak later in the debate. Do I have any other councillor wishing to speak in favour of the motion? Councillor Hudson.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor, and certainly thank you to all of the submitters that came in and for those that provided written submissions as well. And certainly as the chair of the Ballarat District Suicide Awareness Network, it would be turning my back on some of those causes by not supporting the recommendation and realising the vulnerability of people from the LGBTIQA plus community who grapple through the journey of discovering their sexual orientation that are in that vulnerable group of people that are likely to self-harm, have suicidal ideology and ideation, and unfortunately and at times many lives have been lost by people that felt that was the only way out for them. So for us to be better in that space in terms of being an inclusive, welcoming, supportive, safe environment, and I thank the submitters for absolutely reinforcing that comment in your submissions, that our community has to be one that is safe for everyone. And safety means many different things to many people, whether they're out in a group, whether they're on their own, just being able to feel as though they have a connection and are connected to our communities. So if we learn through the establishment of the advisory committee and take advice, and we can put systems into play and improve our practices, and we, dare I say, even take steps to holding more events that are all about more inclusive for all members of our community, we become a much better place for that. And even saying there are opportunities for future tourism and business growth because of doing this as well. So I see it as everyone is a winner, but it is certainly a space that I think we are worthy of positioning ourselves. I take on board Councillor Taylor's comments about the governance process and other things, but there are times when it's just the right thing to do, and it's a good thing to do, and I certainly feel as though this report, Councillor Taylor has identified some gaps that may not be there, but I think we can overcome those. We will get there, and we can learn from the establishment of the advisory committee.
Thank you, Councillor Hudson. Do I have anyone wishing to speak against the recommendation? In favour? In that case, I might revert to my opportunity to speak in favour of the motion as well as the seconder. Well, as Councillor Hudson said, thank you very much to all of our presenters coming in tonight. It's not easy. And it's I'm going to sit down. Sorry, I apologise. It's not easy because I've been there as well. It can be a difficult journey, and it's been less than a year since I've had the courage to do what these people have done and actually speak openly. And the thing is, it's not easy. And why should we have to speak openly about our sexuality in the first place? We should just feel accepted. And I now count myself as a proud member of the LGBTIQA plus community. And it was a hard process to go through last year, but one where I'm so grateful to the community around me. I'm grateful to my fellow councillors for being welcoming. And gosh, they made me the mayor eventually. So thank you so much for that, because it's a huge amount of support. And even though I sometimes wonder why I need to speak about it, the reason why I need to speak about it is because I'm a representative, as all 9 of us are. I know Councillor Johnson would probably be saying something similar as well. All 9 of us are representatives of our city, and we need to do better. We're making some okay progress. The very fact, we've elected an out mayor is a step in the right direction, but we can continue to do better. It rips my heart out to think and to see myself that there are so many people who either leave our city because they don't feel accepted, or leave our city to go and access the basic services that so many others take for granted. It's so wrong. And it's just so gut-wrenching to think, as Councillor Hudson said, and to know there are so many young people who have not felt welcome by their community that they've taken their lives. My message to those people who might be wondering about their value and their acceptance in the community is quite simply that you are loved and you are welcome. And look, I issue a challenge to our business and our sporting and our health and welfare communities to do better, to not just put a rainbow, flag sticker on your door, but to actually take the time to understand the challenges, to learn to do better, to get the pronouns right, to be welcoming, to genuinely make your businesses, your sporting clubs, your health services a more welcoming place. So many of our residents don't have to feel unwelcome or have to feel as though they have to go somewhere else. So this is a step, another step, in terms of giving people who have not had a voice. That's all it is. This is not going to change the world overnight. It's just another step on the journey to becoming a more inclusive city. So for that, I'm very happy to second the motion. I'm not sure if we haven't any speakers against. I don't think we need to wrap up necessarily, unless there are any further speakers. So Councillor Hargraves.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I would like to speak in favour of the motion as well. I think when we're looking at inclusion, it's very easy if you're not part of the community that we're talking about that is affected to think that the discrimination or the barriers or things like that don't exist. So, I mean, even within the LGBTQIA plus community, there's a very diverse range of opinions on this, I'm sure, and very much like in the straight community, there will be differing opinions on all these things. And my instinct is to listen to the people affected and to really try and think, how can we remove those barriers? How can we make a more even keel for everyone to experience life in its fullest in Ballarat? And I suppose on seeing the report, the thing that jumped out at me initially was also the price. But on reflection, I mean, I really do think it's money well spent if it brings those barriers to a less degree and also helps the LGBTQIA plus community enjoy where they live more and have Ballarat be a place of choice for that community, and so tell other people how brilliant it is to live here and how included that they feel and all of that in Ballarat. I would say also just on why would we need something like this. I mean, 2 days ago it was International Lesbian Visibility Day, and I don't think anything came out of, I could be wrong, but I don't think there was any Facebook posts from City of Ballarat. I don't think there was a flag raising. I mean, I would assume these would be the types of things that the advisory committee could, bring out to have happen. And those are exactly the kind of things that do make people feel included and loved and valued in the place that they live. It could be just simply seeing a Facebook post that really strikes that note with people. So I'm very much in support of this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Hargraves. Any other councillor wishing to speak to it? In that case, I might breathe and and put it to a vote, ladies and gentlemen. All in favour? Thank you. That's carried unanimously.
So this is Sean and Belinda out and about together. Like I said, those two are already buddies. And back in 2017, Sean Mulcahy was over in the UK with Amy, who I'll share a bit of stuff on, and is the founder of Queer Greens Victoria back in 2017. So he brought the stuff from the UK over to Australia. And this all now leads into the hate crime legislation they're trying to put through Victorian government. Okay, now that was interesting. Next thing I'm going to look at is something a bit more recent. So until then, see you later, bye.